Good morning to you, Wes. Thanks for your patience there. It's been an eventful few days, we have to say that. What are your overall thoughts on this year's conference and how it's gone?
I think this conference shows that Keir Starmer is scraping the barnacles off the boat. We're coming back from our worst election defeat since 1935, and I think as your viewers, particularly those who perhaps used to vote Labour and no longer, or those, particularly those voters at the last election who actively chose to give Labour a good kicking by voting Conservative, I think voters want to know that we got the message and that we're changing course and facing the future with the kind of Labour Party, the kind of vision, the kind of values, the kind of leadership that they would hope for, that might make them turn their heads and perhaps even turn their votes back to the Labour Party. And that's what we've seen this week. And today you're going to hear from Keir Starmer, the Labour leader. Actually, for the first time, really, given that the pandemic has dominated everything since he was first elected about 18 or so months ago, today is his moment to set out who he is, where he's come from, what he stands for, and why he should be the Prime Minister for our country. So I think it's been a really successful conference for Keir, shaking the party out of its complacency, scraping those barnacles off the boat. But today is really important because this is where he speaks to your viewers directly. And I hope that they'll like what they hear and perhaps will start thinking this guy's the guy to lead our country.
Yeah. Wes, are there two conferences going on? Because the one I'm watching, I don't recognise how you describe it. It has been dogged with issues such as Angela Rayner calling senior Tories scum, and Keir Starmer saying, well, she can, I wouldn't agree with the language, not telling her to apologise. We had that scene the other day where the chairman is asking for more black hands to go up. There have been everyday moments which the Labour leader, and then the resignation of one of his shadow cabinet members. You could hardly say this has been a grinding success for him.
Simon, I would have been really worried if we'd got to this point in the conference and everyone was singing Kumbaya and getting on like a house on fire, and the conference was pretty dull and uncontroversial, because that would tell the country, that would tell your viewers that we haven't actually learned the lessons from defeat, that we haven't heard the tough messages the voters have given us. Change is uncomfortable. No pain, no gain. If we are going to be serious about turning the Labour Party back towards the voters, to anchoring us in the place where Labour can win elections, there are going to be some people who are unhappy. And, you don't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. So I'm sorry. Well, actually, no, I'm not sorry there are some people whinging and moaning around conference that Keir's leading us back to and where the voters are. In fact, I'd be worried if those people weren't complaining. That's what Labour conference is for, especially this year. And if people aren't on board with Keir, aren't on board with listening to the voters, I think Keir's making it clear. Get out the way. I'm with the voters. The Labour Party is there to serve the voters, not the other way round. And that's why we've had a bit of controversy this week. And I'm glad.
Wes, but we've seen resignation of Andy McDonald. We've also seen disaffiliation. The Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union accusing Sir Keir Starmer of a factional internal war. I mean, a lot of people are seeing it like this.
As I said, you don't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. And look, I listened to what Andy McDonald said about a £15 an hour minimum wage. I think the Bakers Union made a similar point. Perhaps they'd like to come on your programme and talk to your viewers about why they themselves have advertised jobs for less than £15. It's very easy for people to make a virtue and to try and create dividing lines, but perhaps they should practice what they preach. And again, barnacles on the boat. Get them off the boat, get Labour shipshape, and maybe your viewers will start thinking, the Labour Party might be a party I'll start voting for again. That's what we're trying to achieve with this conference this week. Well, I ask your viewers to give us a second look. Listen to what Keir Starmer says. And look, I'm not pretending it's going to change overnight, but I think what you'll hear from Keir today will be reassurance that we've listened to the message. We know we got a kick in at the last election, and we're determined to change and root ourselves back with the voters that we need to win the next general election and to make a positive difference for lives, communities right across our country.
Well, what if people don't like the captain of the boat after his speech today? Does the barnacle boat go down sinking, or do you come up and say, look, do you know what? I think I could be leader?
I think the Labour Party, with the barnacles off the boat, is ship-shape. And look, I think Simon, you know, we've been talking to each other on programmes like this for many years. I don't pull my punches when it comes to Labour leaders that aren't up to the job. Keir Starmer is someone of integrity, conviction, a lifetime of public service, someone that I can knock on the doors in my own constituency. I'm always up front with my voters, even when we disagree, and I can look people in the eye and say, this man would be a great Prime Minister. I think he's the best candidate for Prime Minister fielded by any political party since at least we left office just over 11 years ago. And I think today your viewers are going to see the Keir Starmer that I've come to know, like, trust and really believe in. And I desperately want this man to be Prime Minister. I think he'd be an outstanding Prime Minister, and we've all got to put our shoulders to the wheel to get him there.
A barnacle-free boat, with a plank on it, presumably, for people like me, who you must get fed up asking these questions.
Yeah, well, we'll get you walking the plank side,
I know.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Wes,
Really good to
Wes
see you.
Streeting.